Hi, my name is Nara Pine, and this is my discussion board for informed consent. I live in the state of Georgia, so I went and I typed in and tried to find a counselor's informed consent for treatment form in the state of Georgia, and the first thing that popped up was an actual counseling group, so not just one specific counselor. And this counseling group was called Counseling and Life Coach Services LLC. The first part of this form just really kind of goes into, I guess, the lead counselor's professional background. She talks about how long she's been counseling, what her qualifications are, what her licenses are, and so forth. When I was comparing this form to the ACA Code of Ethics, she pretty much completely covers Part A, specifically Part A2, in the first portion of her kind of statement after her professional background. This includes the informed consent, informed needed, and things of that nature. She also clearly covers the portion of A6, which is maintaining boundaries. That's kind of, I wouldn't want to say aggressively in there, but it was very clear on her part that she would be maintaining boundaries with her clients and what she actually expected out of her clients. She also covers all of Part B. The only thing that she did not cover in Part B of the ACA Code of Ethics was like what happens if you die, like the deceased client's part, and also the contagious diseases portion. She doesn't go into like kind of boundary setting of what you need to do if you have a contagious disease, and letting her know. She does mention Section D in regards to speaking with other professionals. She kind of used the wording as like, as it is acceptable in my field. She will be speaking to other professionals if she sees fit about your case. Yeah. In comparing the informed consent for treatment form with the state board codes and regulations, these like rules or regulations covers licensed counselors, social workers, and marriage and family therapists. In regards to the rules and regulations of the state of Georgia, Chapter 135-7, Code of Ethics. In the first Code of Ethics, it says it's like the responsibility of the patient to the client, which I think I already mentioned before, that she really does go into detail about what she does expect from her clients and the responsibility that she has to keep them safe. In regards to the state code, she also does touch on confidentiality, like who she can share things with, who she can't share things with, following down onto Rule 135-7-.04, responsibility to colleagues. She also touches on what her responsibility is in the field and also to her colleagues in her practice. The things that I did not see in the Georgia State Code of Ethics, and I really did look for it, was the fact that there wasn't a lot of rules about technology. I know in the ACA, or excuse me, not the ACA. The ACA, it does go into like recording. Can you record? If you can or can't record. The Counseling and Life Coach Services LLC does say like, you can't record these things and stuff like that, but it doesn't really talk about like Zoom or things that have become more common practice, I would say, since the pandemic had started. And I also found an article about this. It's called The Regulations of Technology Assisted Distance Counseling and Supervision in the United States. And in this article, it pretty much just says how there isn't a lot of rules yet in regards to like a Zoom counseling session or like a phone counseling session. It all falls under like you really shouldn't be recording, your counseling sessions unless you have consent of both the counselor and yourself, but that is subject to liability, and things like that. So that is what I found. Overall, I think the Counseling and Life Coach Services LLC did a very good job in their informed consent for treatment. I think it might need to be updated a little bit in accordance with the times, but it does cover pretty much everything that you would want to know as a new client and things that you might not think to ask as a new client. Thank you. Have a good night.